Good evening, friends, followers, and channel members. Welcome to this very special live stream tonight, where for the first time in a long time, I will be flying the Airbus A320NX from FlyByWire, the developer version. Normally, you'll always see me flying the experimental version with the custom fly-by-wire controls, the custom-built autopilot, FADEC controls, things like that. All of that has now changed. All of that is now merged into the dev build. So if you are one of those pilots that likes flying the dev build, because obviously it has all the new features, the latest features kept nice and up to date, then you are going to want to stick around for this flight tonight, because it's going to look a little bit different. There's lots of new features, and the overall handling of the aircraft is much improved. If you're familiar with the experimental version, then you're probably going to be quite familiar with how this all works. So essentially, what was in the experimental version is now in the developer version. So that's basically what we're going to cover tonight, and obviously check everything is working as it should. Fuel burn, stuff like that, which we've all gotten used to from watching my streams in the experimental, now in the dev. So good evening to Simon Leonard, Klaus, Eastbirds, HD. Oh, HD, I'm going to have to print your last message off to me and burn a small forest in the process. Oh, that's interesting. Jetway loading from the back here at JFK. So we are flying tonight from, I say tonight, I'm on live time, it's tonight here in the UK, but obviously we're on live time, so in the USA we're flying this afternoon from JFK to Pittsburgh. I have no knowledge of Pittsburgh whatsoever, and very limited knowledge of JFK, aside from the fact that there's very few SIDS out of JFK. They basically just want to get you out of the way and vect you to your first waypoint. So we're not on VATSIM tonight anyway. It's cross the pond day as well, for those of you familiar with VATSIM. I didn't want to be getting in the way of anything like that, particularly not on a test flight, when who knows what may happen. It should all be fine. It should absolutely be fine. Oh dear, well, that jetway's just completely ripped my left wing in two. We'll pop that down to a graphical glitch rather than a technical one, shall we? I'm hoping the aircraft still continues to fly fly normally. So we're streaming tonight on Facebook, Twitch, and of course on YouTube. Facebook, Rambunctious Paul. Do I play my own music in the background? No, YouTube would probably sue me. No, and Cybermedic on Twitch. I'm doing well, thank you very much. Right then, so let's delve in, shall we, and see what we can do, see how this new aircraft handles. And I'm hoping that I actually find very little difference between the handling of this aircraft and the experimental. That's the that's the game anyway. Fingers crossed. Okay, so straight away I'm just checking that how everything looks is basically as it should do, because yeah, I loaded in, and I've not actually fired since downloading this from the custom fly-by-wire from the fly-by-wire installer. I've not actually fired up the simulator, so we're just checking that we've definitely got everything working. That would have been rather embarrassing if not, but all seems to be well, so that's fine. Simon, you've just shown that I've just flown this and landed at Rome just in time for the stream. Great timing. Great timing. Right, so one of the things that I would love to see, obviously I can't test it on this flight, is the aircraft holding the company information in here. I don't know why the experimental version hasn't. Hopefully the dev version will. We shall see. But let's pop that in anyway. Oh, Okay guys, hopefully I am coming back with you. Let's see. Are we back? We might be. Oh, well, it seems the aircraft's fine. The guy controlling it, maybe not. Okay guys, something may be happening. Hopefully something good. Oh, what a pain, what a nightmare. Don't you just like it when things work? So, there's the desktop image. That seems to be working. How long before the Wi-Fi shuts down again? Let's find out. But I think I'm back with you, and Flight Simulator should be loading shortly, so fingers crossed things might be working for you again. Wayne, it shows I'm not a virtual reality, I'm a real person. A real person with real problems. Bugs 320, your flight sim won't let you load into a game server thingy. Any thoughts on what that? Not sure actually. I would make sure your multiplayer is turned on in the traffic, in the data settings. Mustafa used departing, did not have SRS runway or auto thrust blue. Why would that happen? Not sure about the auto thrust, but SRS. Oh well, that's an interesting question. We were talking about this the other day. Presumably, you'd been on the ground. You'd been on the ground. 30 seconds previous. Right. So, are we loading? I think we are. You're about to get a black screen of death. Don't worry about that. That is coming. HD, you've just asked the same question I have. Oh, eSpurts, thank you very much, sir, for your very kind donation. I can be perfectly honest with you. Your donation won't be going towards tea. Boss Monkey 8 for the across the pond map on VATSIM looks glorious. Yeah, I bet it does. I bet it does. So, fingers crossed. We'll get ourselves loaded back in, shall we? HD, have you still not submitted that? Was there a deadline? Magic Norm, is the volume low? I've got the music's turned down low. You don't want to listen to that for 5 minutes while everything loads, do you? But hopefully things are now working. Apart from the checking for updates logo, which is no longer spinning around. You get to have a look at the wonderful splash screen, which we're all used to. Oh right, well I'm not going to get anything else loaded up at the moment. I like to make sure flight sim's all loaded before booting anything else up. Don't want it to interfere with it. So yeah, hopefully we will get off the ground pretty soon. I want to be off the ground by 8:30 PM UK time. That was 3 minutes ago, so whoops. But either way, I don't want to rush the setup. I want to do everything as we normally do, realistically. Make sure that this new developer version works just as well as we're hoping it does. Self-loading cargo will be on tonight, Wayne, so don't worry about that. Boss Monkey, yeah, I think we've got 22 right scheduled for departure. Eastbirds, in reality, you could set up your own sim, but you just want to see me do it. Yeah, well, you're going to see me be much more successful than I am the first time I fired up the CRJ. That's that's the truth. Oh, right, what have we got? Let me see. We've got, wow, 126 people watching. So if you have just rejoined us, terribly sorry, guys. We had a tech problem, but don't let that put you off. We're here for the duration. I like to push through these things. For those of you that know the channel well, it wouldn't be the first time that we've had to stay up till gone midnight before starting a stream. Devotion to the cause. Et al. Game UK, you have this aircraft, but didn't know there was an update out for it. Right, so if anyone wants to get this, then delete the A320NX from your community folder, go to the FlyByWire website, download their new installer if you haven't done already, and download the dev version. The dev version is now completely different from what you may have been used to. If you're used to flying the experimental version, you shouldn't notice too many changes. But yeah, looking forward to taking this for a spin, and of course flying in America. It's always a bit more fun, isn't it? Wayne, tech problem in North is overindulgence of the duty free. Depends where up north you're talking about, I guess. I consider myself a northern boy, so maybe that's right. Shot in the dark, thank you very much, sir, for your $30.99 Canadian dollars donation. Shot in the dark says, hi Gav, have a cheeky pint on me. Have you written your own intro theme better than the MS tune? No. It's a good idea though. I have to get around to that. Give me something to do while real-time work isn't great. I wonder if you could actually replace it. I mean, the music file has to be stored in Microsoft Flight Simulator somewhere, doesn't it? Just have to go in and find it, and then obviously replace it. I did go through a stint a few years back of writing cinematic music for audiobooks. Not quite sure how they worked, but yeah, that was my job for a while. Oh right, world map. Let's make sure we've got the LEAP version. There we are. Let's get back at JFK, and then we'll start setting things up. Where were we? I think we were gate A17, something like that. Not that it matters. We obviously want the live weather, live time. Close that. Let's hit fly. Get this loading in. Christian, no, crash to desktop, crash to internet. I'm not entirely sure why as well. For some reason, all the alerts and things in Streamlabs seem to have died of death. So apologies for that. Not sure what's happening there. Don't think I can kick those in either without disconnecting and reconnecting, and God knows we do not want to do that. So we'll ignore it for now. Let's just hopefully get into the aircraft and fly this beautiful, beautiful new release. So thank you to everyone for your patience. HD, I'm not entirely sure. I don't believe it does. I think we're going to have to recalculate the thrust levers and those detents. And I think as well, and this really pleases me, it'll please you as well, HD, I think they've actually swapped the labels around. So now thrust is idle is no longer at the bottom. I think Toga is at the... sorry, idle is no longer at the top. I think they put thrust at the top, so they're now labelled the correct way. So, fingers crossed. Lucas, yeah, I know I can do that. I can obviously quick enter to the fuel page so it's more realistic. I bet you know there's a setting in the config file, because it obviously loads default, doesn't it? About 9.5 tons. It does, it loads default like that. Don't know why. But I bet if you can find the config file for it, shouldn't be too difficult. Yap, good evening. Have you missed anything? Absolutely nothing. You missed a beautiful introduction and then an internet crash. Seem to be holding out at the moment, so that's nice. Game UK is a pain having no top of descent at the moment. It's not a pain. You just have to manage it yourself. Something which occasionally I'm good at, and other days when I forget how many track miles I've got left to run, I'm pretty rubbish at. So Christian, you've not had to change anything with the detents. Well, that's good. That's probably because you've come from the experimental version, as I have, so I may not have to change anything with the detents either. Wayne, you think we should add more memory to the PC? No, you're quite right. And it is in hand and very, very kindly funded by the donations to this channel. So watch this space. That is on its way. So I'm still showing an excellent connection. That's what we want. YouTube's saying we're good. Streamlabs is also saying we're good. Just waiting for JFK to pop up now. Once that pops up, I think we'll hopefully be okay. Once this is loaded in, we'll get a few other things set up as well. Oh, the music stopped. Could we be about to arrive in New York? The weather looked nice before the stream crashed. So Obi-Wan, how do you choose between the experimental, dev and stable? Well, I've always flown the experimental because it's much more realistic. However, now, hopefully after this stream, we will be moving over to the developer. That is what this is. This is the developer version, so really looking forward to this. Right, so I just want to get a couple more things set up here. Let's let me just go in and do that, and then we'll get this show on the road. So we want the banner at the top. Let's get that loaded as well, shall we? So that'll just take a second. This is where upgrading the PC's RAM is really going to help, because of the amount of things that that is running in the background to help this work. Obviously the simulator takes priority, which is great. But then we also want to we also want to get other things running. We've got the stream taking place. We've got self-loading cargo. We've got the overlay as well. Pushback helper, those sorts of things. I won't actually. Oh no, we will use pushback helper, and that jetway is going to slice our wing off in a moment, isn't it? Nothing we can do about that. Danny, sir, welcome very much. Big welcome to you to the First Officers Club. Thank you for your very kind support. Be sure to grab a free drink on board this. HD, if anyone complains about a lack of VNAV from now on, you're going to slap them with a 7 iron. Oh, we've discovered VNAV's not that important. It's going to be nice. To me, I'd rather have holes in. That way I don't mind flying into busy airspace and I can pop the holes into the McDo rather than having to fly them manually, because that thought just makes me want to cry. If you can't multiply something by 3, you shouldn't go within 100 miles of flying the jet. Except maybe in the cabin. Right, so let me just get this overlay working. Where are we? We're at JFK. Where are we going? We're going to Pittsburgh, KPIT. And the call sign is FlyByWire 101. Let's get that sorted. And that should be coming up now. Wow, Simon Smith, Easyjetsimpilot member, been a long time supporter. Thank you very, very much for your really, really generous donation there. And Simon says, a little bit more for the PC updates. Really appreciate the content and contribution to the amazing community. Simon, you are more than welcome, my friend. And that is a really, really kind donation. And it is a wonderful community that, obviously, it's you guys. You guys are the community. I really enjoy doing what I do, but you guys make it so much more enjoyable. It's certainly not work. Well, except when I'm reading HD's debriefs. That's work. But no, thank you. Thank you once again for that, Simon. And as I say, the new RAM is on its way. Right, so anybody suffering still with crashes since the latest update? FSUI PC7 may be your issue. I'm just firing that up now. If you've got the first version, which is 7.0, that works. So if you can get that, then please do go ahead, because that one works quite nicely. And we're just setting up fly-by-wire. No, we're not. We're setting up self-loading cargo now. We'll be ready to hop on board, get the operational flight plan up, and then we should go. So, do you know what? I'll just bring that on into the screen. So, we are flying today for fly-by-wire. The advanced settings, we'll import that from SimBrief. I don't know why it comes up as aviation data systems. Let's just change that to fly-by-wire. There we go. And we're going to change that departure time now because, well, we're quite late. So, there we go. That's better. Right, so I think we're about ready to get inside the aircraft. As I said, we're not on VATSIM. Good job we weren't. And it's across the pond on VATSIM anyway, isn't it, today? So we don't want to be interfering with them. Let's see if we can get this working. So a couple of frame rate issues just there as we pan around the aircraft. That is probably to be expected at JFK, to be fair. Particularly since we've had that last update. One of the problems I've got, I don't know if any of you are able to help with this, one of the Windows updates, the last Windows update that came out, seems to be causing great problems with the simulator, and I cannot uninstall it. I have no options to uninstall it. I tried doing it from sort of like the admin side of things, it just tells me no, not uninstallable, so I'm stuck with it for the moment. So, Easyjetsimpilot, let's see if this time we managed to pull the information from SimBrief. There we go. That's because the internet's connected and working. Right. So, let's have a look at our operational flight planners. That should now be available. And if I can also get that as well, you guys may want to follow that through, so let me just pop that into the chat for you. So let me just log on there, grab that, and then you guys can have a copy by your side. Right, here it is. That's coming into the chat. There we go. So that's now there for you. Let's zoom in then, shall we? I want to start looking at, well, first of all, let's get some ground power. And let's set up. So, batteries on. And, oh, this is interesting. Crew supply is also on already. So just a couple of things that we're used to doing in our flows, not quite the same. I also didn't recall seeing batteries 1 and 2 being turned off, the lights there, which is a little bit strange, because I thought that works. If we just light all those up with the Christmas tree button, oh no, that appears to be working. That's fine. So yeah, a little bit of difference there. Let's get that external power turned on. There we go. No, sorry, it's the new electrical features, of course. Now we've got external power. There we go. We get the crew supply on. Yeah, no longer running off battery power. Requires the external power or APU running, because that is another new feature. The electrical systems have also been updated, so that's quite nice. Right, nav and logo lights, no smoking. Set the emergency lights. Let's now come and see what fuel we're going to need. Well, first of all, what's the weather doing? The weather looks pretty nice here at JFK. What is 0 at 15? So that's okay. Bit of a headwind to depart with. And then at Pittsburgh, oh, that's lovely, isn't it? Few clouds, overcast at 20,000 feet. Oh, so we're not going to see a nice view until we get a little bit lower. That's all right. But other than that, I don't see any reason to take an excessive amount of fuel. So let's go to the dispatch operational flight plan. Let's check out what that says. So about 5.5 tons then. So go to the planner, fuel screen, 5.5 tons, set that to real, and we're on our way. Good stuff. Right, where's that jetway coming? Is it about to slice through my wing again? There it is. Okay, so once the jetway is connected, defueling is now underway. And we can start letting you guys on board, I think.
Cabin crew, we're ready to start boarding the aircraft now, so you can go ahead, open the doors. Thank you.
Sure, no problem.
Right, so passengers are now starting to come on board. Still didn't get any 3 clicks though, so I presume it's now safe to do the engine test. So there's engine 1, engine 2, and the APU. Everything else on the overhead looks fine for now. Let's come down here. What have we got? QNH then at JFK at the moment is 1015. Let's go and set that on the standby. Yeah, Simon, we're finally boarding. 1015. Anti-skid is all set as well. Let's come down to the pedestal then. Right, so first thing I want to check is this calibration of the thrust levers. So there's idle, there's my climb detent, there's flex, and obviously there is toga. Right, so they're all working nicely as I've come over from the experimental version, and they're the same now. Christian, oh mate, sorry you've got to go, my friend, but thanks very much for popping in and keeping us company while we reset the PC. Okay, that's looking good. So VHF2 will get on the guard frequency 1215 and come back to oh, was VHF2 already set to 1215? That's nice if it was. That's really nice if it was. In fact, do you know what? No, look at this. I wonder if it actually now they've updated it so that your last set comms is still saved. That is really, really nice. So VHF2 was already set to the guard from my previous flight, and you can already see Unicom is set. Ah, that is really nice. Fantastic stuff. I like that. Transponder is where it should be as well, so that's pretty neat. Good stuff. Alright, let's come to the glare shield then. 1015, set that for the QNH and flight directors 1 and 2 coming on. Connor, good evening from East Sussex. Hope you've had nice weather today. We have. Up in Yorkshire. HD, yeah, now all it needs to do is remember the landing fuel, which again I think that is that's something that's coming as well. In fact, as this flight is about new features, if I just go into the settings page, Oh, it's not there. There there is an option coming which is going to degrade the aircraft's engine performance as the older it gets. So that's going to be quite neat. Let's get this screens up then. IRS alignment in 2 minutes. I'm still going to turn the first officer's displays off. That's set. Okay, so now down to the in fact, we ought to load some bags, didn't we? I don't think our passengers are going to be happy today if they don't get the bags. Oh, and certainly not without the catering. We need the catering. Good to see the custom views are still working as well, so that's nice. Captain 79, you're going to have a film and wine night. That sounds nice. As long as it's cold wine. I can't drink warm wine. And I don't like red wine. Right, that's all set. That's neat. So let's come down to the FMGS on the McDo and get that set up. So information, pull that in from SimBrief. Clear the scratch pads. Atsu AOC. Weather request. I don't want weather request. I want init press. Init data request. Check that pulls through JFK to Pittsburgh. And 1 hour and 11 minutes. HD threw some birds on them. That degrades the performance. Well, funnily you should say that. I think one of the things, I'm sure I've seen this, I can't remember where I saw it, was bugs. They were talking about it's putting bugs in it, and the amount of bug build-up and insect build-up also degrades the performance as well. So I'm sure I've seen that somewhere. I'll have to try and hunt that out. Anyway, that's all set. Let's come and have a look. There's GPS primary kicking in. Performance, weights and balance. So I'm just going to set the center of gravity to match 30. There we are. And let's have a look at our payload. 178, quite full tonight then. Dispatch, operational flight plan. 18,512, 0 fuel weight is 59.5, 18,512, that's all correct. Let's load that in. So that's all set. And data, IRS, 3 nav green, and aircraft status is the LEAP. With a valid AirX cycle. So init A then, let's do the uplink. Init request, FlyByWire 101. And Dallas Fort Worth, the alternate. Cruise flight level 160, I don't think so. Right, so yeah, SimBrief has given us a step climb, flight level 160. I don't think so. What are we actually going to be cruising at today? So flight level, that's Cleveland 160. Top of descent, really? That can't be right. Top of climb 160. Why on earth would we be flying so low? Well, that's rubbish. Right. Well, we're going to fly higher, which is going to improve our fuel efficiency. So let's where we're flying? We're flying westbound. So let's go for flight level 300, shall we? So 300. That's better. Update that. Oh, Bastion, is that Detroit, not Dallas Fort Worth? Oh, well, good. I did think Dallas is nowhere near Pittsburgh, is it? And my American geography is pretty rubbish. So that's my excuse. Tropopause 39230 and 39223. That's really close. Fantastic. HD, how far between the two airports as the crow flies? We can find that out, can't we? Progress page. KPIT. So HD, 294.7 miles. Call it 295. 295 miles as the crow flies. So yeah, I think flight level 160 would be a little bit low, wouldn't it? Right, so that's all set up. Let's come down to the flight plan. So the flight plan today, we are departing runway 22 right. And then I think there's no SID for us today. I think we're straight out. In fact, that's one thing I've not yet loaded up. Let me load up Navigraph. We'll find out. Let's have a look. But there aren't that many standard instrument departures from JFK, which I know sounds crazy for someone like me that doesn't know JFK at all. It's not an airport I fly in and out of a lot. You would have just thought that an airport as big as JFK would obviously have a lot more standard instrument departures, but yeah, it actually doesn't. So this is departure from runway 22, and all of the standard instrument departures actually head northbound to begin with. There is one that we could potentially use, but for this flight we'll just go straight to our first waypoint, which is direct to Dixie. So no standard instrument departures, and insert, and then our arrival then is to, now this looks a bit weird, so we could put a standard instrument standard arrival routing in from Vince down here, which if we put that in, that's probably going to put a flight plan in something like that, which is a bit daft, but then we could just go direct. So let's pop that in, because I do want to try and make sure that things like that work, so in the new version. So arrival, and it is the ILS runway 10 right, 10 right. Let me just scroll down and find that. Second one down, ILS 10 right. And the star that we're using is the DEM 4. There we go. Via Willie, apparently. Let's check that out. Vince, DEM, and ILS comes in via, there's Willie. There you are. Just there. So that's our fix for that. Actually, the initial approach fix is called Mufti, looking at that, so Willie will have to do. Insert, and the transition is Vince. Insert that. Distance 335 miles then, and what have we got on here? 341 miles, so that's pretty close. Happy with that as well, aren't we? So that's good. Let's have a look now then at the RadNav page. So what can we pop in here for our departure from JFK? I actually don't think we need to pop anything in there from departing JFK. I'm quite happy to leave that. In that case, let's go to the init page. Check our fuel. So the zero fuel weight was 59.5, and we set the standard zero fuel weight center of gravity, didn't we? Trip wind, headwind of 27 this evening, H27, and fuel planning, what did we load? We loaded 5.5 tons. Fuel planning 4.7. Excellent. Let's just check. We do have 5.5 tons loaded. Oops. 5.5 tons is loaded, so let's pop that in. 5.5 and insert. Okay. Takeoff weight 64.9. What have we got the alternate fuel showing as? 1.7 rounded up. Let's change that. Quite happy with these frame rates as well at JFK. Obviously it's a big airport. Lots of details. There we go, 1.7, and that looks to be okay. Fuel prediction, 3.2 tons of fuel on board by the time we get there, and if we had to divert, 1.5 tons. So that's that's good as well. Right, our takeoff weight of 64.9. Let's have a look at the performance page. Barry Golding, good evening, sir. Thank you very, very much for your kind support, and welcome to the First Officers Club. Great to have you on board. It's very, very kind of you to support the channel, and of course, hope to see you in for many more flights to come. Right, so JFK, current METAR, and our takeoff weight was what? Sorry, the takeoff weight was 64.9. We can call that 65, can't we? Right, so the packs will be off, anti-ice will be off, runway is dry, flaps 1 config. We're going to be departing runway 22 right. And do we need the full length of the runway available? What are our options actually? So we've got intersection F or full. Oh, to be honest with you, I may as well just use the full length. There's not taxi time, it's pretty much the same between them. So let me just check now that the takeoff runway available matches 3682. Let's do that on here. So takeoff runway available. Let's have a look. Where's that going to show us on here? That's landing, and ooh, not that page. Okay, next page. Just scroll back and find that. Is this on the airport page here? I wouldn't have thought so. HD, am I missing something here? Runway 4 left, runway 4 right, 22 right, takeoff, or are they exactly the same? 3460. No, HD, I don't think I can see them either. That's the takeoff for what it says, 3460. What did it say on here? 3682. We'll presume that's correct. Okay, and calculate. So what's our flex is 68. So flex is 68 and our takeoff center of gravity is going to be 32. Runway 22 right, no SID. Alright, so the transition altitude here of course is 18,000 feet. Our initial climb, we can pretty much give that ourselves because we've no air traffic control and we're not on a SID. So initial climb out, we can just give that as, we'll call it 15. Call it 15,000 feet. And minimum safe altitude around the airport is, if we can find that, minimum safe altitude is 2,000 feet. So that's nice and low, of course, flying out over the Atlantic Ocean. And HD, that does match up actually. 3682 meters, distance next to the runway on the charts. Hang on, I can bring that in. Yeah, there it is. So can use that instead. Alright, lovely. That's that all set. So let's now come to our takeoff performance page. Transition altitude here in the USA is 18,000. Noise abatement 2 departure. Elevation of the airport is 13 feet. So at 1,000 to that, that's obviously rounded to the nearest 10. So 1,010 feet. That's fine. Flaps 1 for the departure. Flex temp was calculated at 68. Let's check these V speeds then. So V2 137, VR 133, and V1 is 132. Okay, good. We're all set and happy with that then. So that's the takeoff performance page. Calculations all done. I believe all the passengers are loaded as well, so they don't look too dissatisfied that we were late. Alright, let's do our briefing then, our departure briefing. So we are parked just here. If I just zoom in a little bit more, I think we're at something like Charlie 17. There we go. So we're at 17. We're going to push back and taxi to well, push back, face east, and then we'll taxi down via Foxtrot and then come up and use the full length runway, taxiway Echo, holding point. After takeoff then, as I said, there is no standard instrument departure, so after takeoff it's a right hand turn, and then we can also just see what this looks like on the navigation display as well. So let's just set nav there. I said we were going to set 15,000 set. Go into plan mode, have a look at our departure. So only a little right turn as we depart, as we can just see from that to our first waypoint. So a nice straight out departure more or less. Then let's just see what this arrival looks like. Well, that looks interesting. Actually, would be quite happy to do that, or we can just obviously go into heading mode from here, carry on, and intercept the ILS from the south. But we can double check that on route. Right, still telling us refueling is taking place. I would have thought that would have finished by now, as we wanted 5.5 tons. So let's get that back into arc mode. Alright, is refueling still taking place? Let's have a look. Fuel, it does say completed now. Has that message now gone? Oh, it has. Maybe you need to check the fuel page on the EFB before that says that it's completed. That's actually quite nice. Just gets you doing that and clears that little message on the eCam that we've got there. Alright, so now refueling is completed. We'll get the fuel pumps on and get the doors closed. Start the APU. All passengers are on board, so our preparation is complete. I'm just waiting for that APU to start, then we'll disconnect the external power and run our before start checklist.
Yeah, we're nearly ready to go, so you can close the doors once everyone's on board. Thanks a lot.
Boarding is still underway, but we're almost done. It shouldn't take much longer.
So there goes the jetway, and we shall get those doors closed. As refueling is completed as well, we can also now get the seatbelt signs turned on.
My captain, all passengers are on board and doors have been closed. The drink cart is fully loaded and all liability forms have been signed. We're about ready to go. Good luck with the test flight and please get us back in one piece.
Thanks a lot.
Right, so just waiting for that APU to get running. Really do like the better looking textures of the flight deck since I did that little update to my graphics settings. Don't know if any of you have caught that. If you haven't, go ahead and do it. It's worked for loads of people. Might not work for everybody, but it certainly worked for me. Oh, I've not pressed the APU start button. What a numpty. How many times have you done that, HD, in the real world? Let's get the doors armed.
Cabin crew, we're about ready to push back, so if you can please arm the door now and cross check. Thank you.
Here comes our tug driver. I love the detail of some of these handcrafted airports. I mean, the recycling bins. Look at that. You've even got black and green for recycling and general trash. HD, that actually makes me feel really better.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking, and on behalf of the Fly-by-Wire development team, I'd like to welcome you on board this Fly-by-Wire test flight in the Airbus A320NX. Today, we're going to be testing out some new systems, so I invite you to sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight. A reminder that this version of the Airbus is not yet available for download. All of the new systems will shortly be merged into the developer build and the upcoming experimental version. For now, please listen to your cabin crew, get yourself sat seated with your seatbelts securely fastened, and as the ground crew finish loading the last of your luggage into the aircraft, we look forward to a safe, smooth departure, and we hope you enjoy your flight. Once again, on behalf of the Fly-by-Wire team, thank you very much for choosing to fly with us today, and we look forward to delivering you a safe and pleasant journey.
Okay, so slightly incorrect cabin announcement there. This version is of course available to download using the Fly-by-Wire installer, and this is the dev version, the newly updated dev version. Okay, so let's do our cockpit preparation checklist. Let's not do it from outside the flight deck, shall we? So cockpit preparation is all set and completed. Let's just lock those flight deck doors. The signs are on and auto. The ideas, we've got 3 nav green. Fuel quantity is 5.5 tons. Is also also balanced as well. FMGS is all set. Altimeter 1015. We should probably not be using millibars, should we, in the US? But there we are. I am at 1015. And it looks like ghosts in the windows. I've not even checked that. Right, so we know where we're going with regards to pushing back. No problems with the weather, and the aircraft, as I say, is the new dev version, A320neo from Fly-by-Wire. Any threats? Just the pilot. Other than that, we're good to go. Let's get the tug. The tug is already connected. We've got a pushback clearance. We know where we're going. Let's get the rotating beacon light turned on. Start the timer, and acupressure is in the green. Let's set the transponder, and we can now look to release the parking brakes. Just before we do, before start checklist, below the line windows and doors are closed and armed. Rotating beacon light is on, mobile phone is off, and parking brake is on. We're about to remove that, and let's get pushed back from our friendly Mr. Touch driver. So back we go. Engine mode select to ignition, and starting engine 1. Whoever's asking VCMG where I'm going, it tells you at the top of the screen where I'm going. We're off to Pittsburgh.
Hello and welcome aboard. As we prepare for departure, we ask that you pay close attention to the following important information about this airplane. Your seatbelt should be fastened whenever the fasten seatbelt sign is illuminated. To fasten your seatbelt, insert the metal tip into the buckle until you hear a click. To change the length of the belt, adjust the strap. To open the buckle, lift the metal flap. All emergency exits are clearly marked. Take a moment now to locate the exit nearest you. Emergency exit lights are located near the floor in each aisle to assist you to an exit. As you can see, this aircraft has 6 exit doors. 3 doors are located on the left side, and 3 doors on the right side. Each door is equipped with an automatic slide. In an emergency, flight attendants will inflate slides from all safe exits. In the event of an evacuation, move quickly to the exit nearest you and jump into the slide. Leave all luggage behind. After you reach the bottom of the slide, move immediately away from the airplane. pressure is controlled for your comfort. If a change in pressurization occurs, oxygen masks will automatically drop from the small compartment above your seat. If this should happen, immediately extinguish all cigarettes. Remain in your seat and pull the nearest mask to your face until the pin is released and the tube is fully extended. Place the mask over your nose and mouth. Adjust the elastic head strap and breathe normally. If you are traveling with a child, secure your own oxygen mask first, then assist the child. Continue to run the oxygen mask until you start between you and the fastest line which seat to use the autopilot tab to the elastic band which opens the seat. If you relax the band from the pressure runs through the straps and the seat will stay in. Now the straps will stay on. The straps are automatic fit tightly like a vest. As you move the aircraft, the flight mask will be sharply angled over the nose. These may also be inflated and rolled with tubes on the sides. If traveling with a child, fulfill safety information. The elevation slides will firmly elevate the impact gear and may be used as life rafts. In preparation for takeoff, please ensure that your seat is upright with the tray table closed. Your cabin baggage should be securely stowed beneath the seat in front of you or in one of the overhead compartments which is latched closed. Please remember that smoking is permitted in your seat only.
Okay, so we're going to taxi out via Delta Alpha, Delta Bravo, cross runway 31 right, and across Delta Bravo, Foxtrot Bravo to Echo.
This airplane is equipped with
Yeah, HD. On reflection, I wasn't going to try and squeeze my aircraft through that jetway and the blast fence. It's a new aircraft. We don't want to wreck it too soon, do we?
seat. An ashtray is found in the armrest. Magazine racks are completely
Okay, so with that all done, we can put the engine mode select to ignition, and APU coming off, APU bleed coming off, APU master is coming off. Let's come down here then and set the spoilers and flaps 1. Let's also check the trim setting, which was 32. There we go. Alright, so we're cleared to disconnect. Oh, he's already gone. He wasn't hanging around after that long push. See if we get to 100 knots before the threshold. It's a nice long threshold. Okay, after start checklist then. Anti-ice is off, ECAM status is checked and looking fine. Pitch trim 32, rudder trim set 0. Before takeoff checklist. Okay, let's check these control surfaces then. One of the things that the experimental version had. So, just checking that they move not very quick. The dev version, if you're used to doing this control check, you will see those arrows moving really much faster than you're seeing right now. So that's how we know that we're using the custom fly-by-wire custom fly-by-wire system that FlyByWire has built themselves. So that's really nice to see now in the dev version. We can also set the terrain radar. Not the terrain radar, the weather radar on. Let's set max auto brake, and we'll also ding the cabin while I'm sat still. We'll get the taxi light on as well. So pushback is now clear. Let's release the parking brakes and we shall begin the taxi. Why don't I use the, you mean the web pushback, Lucas? Do you mean the one on the EFB? Purely because, one, for me, it taxis back very, very quickly. There's no speed control yet. I don't know if they plan to add one of those. Not only that, I use the pushback helper add-on because it controls things like the doors, and it seems to work much, much better with self-loading cargo, which is nice. Okay, so this is taxiway Alpha, which has clearly got a pothole in it. Look at what the aircraft's just done. And now we're going to taxi on to Well, we're going to taxi onto what runway? What taxiway is this? This Bravo, isn't it? And then after Bravo, we're going to cross Delta Bravo in a moment. EFB pushback must be Spanish, or do they not hang around? Let's go to your config as well. Tommy, the detent settings for the throttle, there's really no point in copying anybody else's because it's designed explicitly for you and whatever thrust lever system you've got. It really does depend, and you can set them yourself now. So I basically look at my thrust lever, decide, right, I want that to be idle, I want that to be my climb, that to be the flex, that to be the toga, obviously toga's at the top, and you set them on the EFB. So definitely doing for your definitely worth doing yourself. Right, so I'm just checking that we've no traffic. No, we've no traffic. That's fine. Right, let's continue that taxi. So I'm just checking that we've no change in our performance. Let's check. QNH is still the same, 1015. That's fine. Weather radar is on, transponder is on, auto brake is on, cabin crew has been dinged, TO config has been set, takeoff memo. We'll not put the terrain on the departure, that's okay, we don't require that. So our departure briefing then is straight out departure, more or less. Transition altitude is 18,000 feet, stop climb 15,000 feet, minimum safe altitude is 2,000 feet. Our thrust reduction and acceleration altitude is about 1,000 feet, 1,010. And sorry, just looking at where we're taxiing just here. So we left down here. Simon, have I turned live traffic on? No, I'm just flying everything offline at the moment. I don't think that taxi sign's there in real life, is it? Just destroyed that. So before takeoff checklist, turtle line flight controls has been checked. We've done our departure briefing. Flap setting config 1. FMA and takeoff data then 132 blue, 137 magenta. Climb nav blue, 15,000 blue, F1 FD2, and the flex takeoff is 68. And here we are at runway 22 right, ready for our departure. Alright, so all set for that then. Brake temperatures looking fine. Line-up clearance, we don't have ATC, there's no other aircraft in the sim today, so that's fine for this test flight. Let's get the strobe lights on, let's get the landing lights on, the runway turn-off lights, etc, etc. And packs 1 and pack 2 are off. TCAS and transponder on. TCAS TARA tilt is already set to above. That's fine. So before takeoff checklist below the line, cabin is secured for takeoff. Not in self-loading cargo, it isn't. It is now. Engine mode select to norm. TCAS TARA packs off. Anti-ice off. Let's line up. I honestly can't believe the difference that little tweak to my graphics settings on the PC has made. Everything looks so much better. It really, really does. Lawrence, have I heard Flyby is coming back? Well, they've been granted their license, haven't they? So that'll be good if that's the case. Will certainly make my son happy. He loves the purple Dash 8s. Okay, so we're set for takeoff. Final check, everything looks good and in place. Packs are off. Okay, side stick forward, start the chrono. Takeoff. Start the chrono, set 50% N1. And set takeoff thrust. Our man flex, SRS. Auto thrust blue.
100 knots.
There you go, HD. 100 knots, well before the runway. And V1. Oh, can we take off before the runway as well? Pretty close.
Positive right. Clear up.
And that's that straight out departure. Flight directors are looking good. These should be the same flight directors that we've had in the experimental build, so no reason why they shouldn't. So follow those. Okay, so now lower that nose. We've just passed thrust reduction altitude and set climb thrust. Okay, thrust climb climb. Again, following those flight directors there. Positive speed trend. Let's get the packs back on. 1 and 2. And all very happy. No need to continue flying that manually. Autopilot 1 engaged. Autopilot 1. We'll just monitor that. We're about to pass S speed in a moment. Wow, that looks nice. So we'll monitor that in a second. Flap 0 after passing S speed. There we go. Flap 0. Disarm the ground spoilers. And nav, yeah, as we didn't have. I'm still not used to seeing no runway there. It's nav, HD. It's nav. And there we are, off on our way to 15,000 feet. So if anyone wants to catch the graphics settings that I changed, then check out the video that I uploaded a couple of days ago. It's a 30-second change, and it's made so much difference to the simulator. Particularly its appearance, and frame rates certainly don't seem to have suffered at all. Some would say they're actually better. A lot of people have said that they're better. Okay, so that looks like a nice clean departure. We'll release the cabin crew. Vince the Coot, what happened to the auto flaps retract? They would have retracted had I left them down and past 210 knots. Tommy, does my rudder go crazy whilst taxiing? No, no. Aviation 19, that's good news. So just past 8,000 feet.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we climb towards our cruising altitude today on this fly-by-wire test flight, please take a moment to fill out the complimentary wool-making kit. You'll find this in the pocket of the seat in front of you. Once again, we thank you for being passengers on board this special test flight and promise you that the drinks trolley shall be around shortly. If you have any special requests for today's flight, please contact a member of our cabin crew. You may now also switch back on your electronic devices. However, a reminder that this is a test flight, and so you do so at your own risk. Thank you.
Okay, past 10,000 feet, let's get the lights off. And we can pop the air forts on the EFIS, check the prog page. And cruise flight level 300, optimum's 390, so that's absolutely fine. So, set flight level 300, set standard pressure, 300 blue, and we're good. Alan, are the speed call-outs on departure part of the new version? No, they were from self-loading cargo. Lawrence, did I used to stream on Twitch? Yeah, until about 2 hours ago when the PC crashed. Well, the internet crashed. So this has just been streamed on YouTube tonight. Oh, HD, so many things to remember. Although I didn't put anything in the RadNav page, but the frequency's there. So if we clear that, there we go. Just the departure ILS, I believe that was already in there. Obi-Wan, where do you find the sounds files for self-loading cargo that I'm using? These have been made by myself and took quite a few hours, to be honest. Mr. Greendew, every flight you do with the A320N seems to have of the flight plan, left or right turn. Are you typing anything into the well, first of all, have you got your dead zone set in the sensitivity settings, and are you typing anything into the flight pad at the same time? Barry says you need to thank us for the graphics tweak as well. It's the best the system has looked on the system. Yeah, I think it's probably the best mine's ever looked as well since it came out. HD, no, it didn't say runway, did it? That thought did run through my mind. Get standard pressure on the standby instrument as well. Atlantic Ocean, if you're sat on the left hand side, and a little bit of cloud cover over New York if you're sat on the right. We'll be banking right in a moment. Gabriel, good evening. Okay, Europe is empty right now on VATSIM. Everyone's in America. HD, let's check that cost index. What are we currently climbing at? We're climbing at 2.6. So let's just check this out, shall we? In fact, hang on. Right, so I put that there. Let me change the cost index to something crazy. Let me put it into 70. So if I go back to init and let's change that to 70, shall we? And see if that affects anything. Not increase the rate of climb. Or do you want me to put 0 in? Go on, let me put 0 in. Doesn't appear to have changed too much. Has dropped the rate of descent a little bit by about 300-400 feet per minute. Well, that could just be because we're in the turn. Yes, Simon, it was pretty much a straight-out departure, wasn't it? Nice and straightforward. So yeah, nothing really happening much with the cost index there. Okay, happy with the aircraft. No turbulence on departing JFK, so let's remove the seatbelt signs.
Ladies and gentlemen, the seatbelt sign has now been turned off. You are now free to move around the cabin and the toilets are now available. However, when in your seat, we recommend that you keep your seatbelt fastened at all times in case of unexpected turbulence. Please contact a member of the cabin crew if you require assistance. Thank you.
HD, I was looking at the magenta the magenta triangle on the speed tape to see if that moved, and it didn't from what I saw. And I think, yeah, we just lost a bit of the climb rate just because we were in the turn, didn't we? Alfie Lambton, good evening. Talia, always fun going from the A320 to one of the prop planes with no autopilot or GPS, etc. I'm quite liking the Airbus helicopter at the moment, just to mess around it and sightsee. So if anyone has got any questions regarding the if anyone's got any questions regarding this new version, then please do ask. I know not a lot of people use the experimental version, but this is now the dev version, which has essentially become the experimental version, hasn't it? Alfie, we're off to Pittsburgh this evening. I know nothing about Pittsburgh, either the airport or the place. And we just passed flight level 160. No, I haven't. 260. I'm 10,000 feet late.
Ladies and gentlemen, on this test flight for FlyByWire, we are pleased to be able to offer you exclusive tax-free savings on all your purchases today. You may wish to consider upgrading your service to becoming a channel member and benefit from the extra perks that are available. Please contact a member of the cabin crew for more details. Please remember that this version of the Airbus A320neo is not yet available for downloading. Thank you.
Ignore that, of course. This version is available for downloading. Casey, your autopilot disengaged without warning. Well, strangely enough, that's happened to me a couple of times, but re-engaging it again has never been a problem. Thank goodness. Anyone going to take bets on which airport that is down there, then? Wayne, you need better cabin crew. You sound like Stephen Hawking. HD, no, I didn't see that. Please do retype that. Shamrock 1710, are they looking to develop the model to make the A380 1921? Yes, they are. They're just waiting for, I think it's model blender issues to become, because essentially the systems are all exactly the same, so the hard work's been done. Tony Project TV, what are the basic differences between stable development and experimental? Right, okay. Trying to explain the experimental is a little bit difficult at the moment, but the stable version is fully working. 0 bugs, nothing can go wrong, famous last words. But yeah, no, the stable version is for those of you that want an aircraft that is 100% working to its full potential at that time without any serious issues and things that may not be quite right. The stable version is the way to go, and that gets updated normally every couple of months, something like that. Then the dev version, well, the dev version, developer version, is the aircraft which has all the very latest features that FlyByWire have been working on. All that, and that they do get tested before they merge them in, but they're not considered stable, but you're going to have very, very few problems with it, to be honest with you. So that's the developer version. Now, things have changed today. Today, what they have done with the developer version is they have brought the experimental version systems, which had custom autopilot, custom fly-by-wire designs, new FADEC for the engines, basically how the engine control works, a new primary flight display, and how that all works. That was in the experimental version. Today they have brought all of those features and put them in the developer version. So if you've never flown the experimental version before, the dev version may seem a little bit strange to you to begin with. I hope I've explained that all right. HD ground distance doubled is the right cruise height to fly up to 3.9 obviously. So if the airport was 260 miles away, you'd go for a maximum of about 260. Oh, I see. Ah, that's a nice little tip. Jamie, spec of the PC. I don't have to send you to Facebook. Hang on, bear with me 1 second. There you go. Shamrock 1710, cheers for the video on the 30-second graphic fix. It works. It does, doesn't it? Lots of people have said exactly the same. It really does work. And sorry HD, we missed the FMAs, but there we are. Speed alt cruise. That's what I was coming back to check.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the cockpit, once again, just to let you know that we've reached our cruise level for today's flight. We're not anticipating any delays, so we should have you at your destination on time as planned. As the cabin crew make their way around the aircraft, you make sure the aisles are clear of any items. Are you ready to sit back, relax, and enjoy the rest of the flight? Thank you.
Looks like lovely clear skies ahead as well, which is quite neat. Graphics really are out of this world. And what really amazes me is the fact that if you are in a Cessna or anything like that, anything you see below us right now, you can actually go and fly down and see in 3D. For those of you that have come from older flight simulators, you used to fly, and at this height the ground used to look pretty decent, didn't it? But then if you decided you were in your Cessna and you were going to come down from like 15,000 feet down to 15,000 feet, does Cessnas ever go that high? But if you were going to come down to sort of ground level, suddenly you just find everything was actually just blocks, flat blocks. Well, no longer. They're all 3D objects when you get down there. So that's really, really nice. Alan, the A320 doesn't have a distinctive double strobe flash. So as a game me and my son play at night, well, not at night anymore because he's in bed, but during the winter, if we were outside and we saw an aircraft flying over, like, was that a Boeing then? Or is it an Airbus? And the Dreamliners are very easy to spot. Yeah, it does. Looks really, really nice. And of course, it's even daft things like that little river down there. You know it's there in real life. Everything you can see right here now is in real life. I should have potentially put some live traffic on for this, shouldn't I? Just so we weren't alone in the skies. I'm sure adding the double strobe flash would be quite an easy fix, to be honest. Captain, is the direct to function now available without any bugs? I've never had a bug with the direct function. I've only ever had a bug with deleting waypoints. But that still exists. But the direct function seems to work pretty nice. Sun visors are used at night as well. RDMans 2, your ground speed and ETA on the Fly Live is bugged. Oh well, that wouldn't be the first thing to go wrong this evening. Ground speed 1 knot. Yeah, you're right about that. That's definitely wrong, isn't it? What about the ETA? Is that showing anywhere correct? No, the ETA looks wrong as well, doesn't it? What's going on there then? Can I reset that? Let's see. Now I think the only way I can reset that is actually to restart it. Don't think I can disconnect. Oh, hang on, can I? Oh no, that's an update. I don't want to update it. Oh, that's a little bit annoying, isn't it? Nick, which version of the aircraft? That's a great question. Which version of the aircraft will I continue to use? The dev or the experimental? Well, at the moment, they're exactly the same, so I may as well continue using the dev now that they've sort of been merged together. It all depends on what they do with the experimental. The main reason I flew the experimental version was for the custom autopilot. Sorry, not the custom autopilot, I mean that was a big plus, but for the custom fly-by-wire controls, meaning it was much nicer to handle. You try flying the default A320 on a crosswind landing, and it's really tough. So Simon, so ETA is 5 hours, no 10, no 15, maybe in a day. Well, Simon, maybe it knows more about my internet connection than we do. It's probably just factoring in the things that are going to go wrong in the next hour. Oh well, let's have a look at that fuel flow, shall we? That fuel flow looks pretty good, and also let's check now those SD pages. So we can still cycle through those as we should be able to. Bleed air, of course, pressure. The electrical page. Very proud of the work the fly-by-wire guys have done on the electrical page. How they've got all that working. That is really neat. Hydraulics, not just yet. Fuel used so far, about just under 1.3 tons of fuel burnt. That's nice. Paul, will I be sticking with the dev version? Well, I'll probably stick with the dev version for a week or so until the experimental starts to get new things. Of course, the experimental is slowly going to start checking things out like LNAV and VNAV, so we can sort of get holds being flown, which is really going to be good. And I am for those of you that don't know, I am a QA tester with fly-by-wire, so I do test a lot of the new features quite regularly on stream here as well. So if you want to be kept up to date with the latest things fly-by-wire are doing and see them live in the stream, then please hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you're not missing anything. APU and 24 degrees. Wheel temperatures 0, and flight control computers are working. Right, what did we load on board with? We loaded with 5.5 tons, didn't we? Normally in the cruise, what do we normally burn a minute? It's about 35. Seems to be burning a little bit more at the moment. We've got a headwind. We do have a headwind actually. Let's see how this compares then on the OFP fuel wise. Right, so where are we? In what time is it? 20:51. Right, so in 2 minutes we should be at Cups, so call it 26 minutes. We should be at Cups, wherever that is. Dispatch OFP 26 minutes in. Oh, hang on. What's the name of that waypoint? Cups. Have I just had a man look for this particular waypoint? Juni, Paul's, Harrisburg, Boyer, Wepner, Pottstown, Yardley, Robbinsville, Casby, Dixie. Alright, anyone tell me why that's not listed on our operational flight plan? Alan, the transition altitude is where you set standard pressure, and stop altitude is just the altitude you're stopping your climb at following your departure. It's basically your initial climb clearance from air traffic control on the ground. They say don't go any higher than this until cleared by the next controller. What's the next waypoint? I'm having a bit of a navigation crisis. Alright, Harrisburg. So that was on there. Harrisburg should be there in about about 3 minutes. Call that 28. Harrisburg. Oh, so we're ahead of time there now. Oh, just missed one out, didn't it? Unless that's a formatting error. I want to check now. Where is it? Harrisburg. Oh yeah, it must just be a waypoint along the V12 airway. Harrisburg though, 35 minutes. And we're probably going to be there a little bit quicker, I think. Yeah, so we're ahead of schedule. That's nice. What's the fuel doing then? We've got 4 tons on board, and at Harrisburg, 3.5, or just over 3.5. So that's not looking bad at all. That's quite neat. Good. Good, good.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to serve a selection of food and snacks from the galley. Please ensure your tray tables are in the down position and that the aisles are kept clear. Due to the nature of this test flight, sick bags have also been provided for you in the pockets of the seats in front of you. Here, you'll also find a snack menu showing the food items that are on offer. Please keep any litter you may have, and our cabin crew will be around shortly afterwards to collect it. Thank you.
So at Harrisburg then, HD, what was it? So let's have a look. So 3.5 and the contingency 5%, so 132. So what would that be? That would be 16, something like 1632 then, isn't it? What did I just say? That was a load of rubbish, wasn't it? 3632. 3632 at Harrisburg. And we're about 39 at the moment. So it looks like we're going to have about 300 kilograms spare at Harrisburg. What should we do with them? Wayne, is the fuel prediction the minimal fuel remaining fuel on board at the OFP? No, so that is the MFR, so that's the minimum fuel on board that you should have at that waypoint to allow you to get to your alternate. Air Trooper, evening all. I have a question. I had a problem with the A320 today. Flying great, but twice in the flight, all cockpit was greyed out, knobs and all the engines froze, but the plane was still flying okay. Oh, that's aliens. Yeah. Nothing else I can give you for that. Let's get the fuel off the SD page, shall we? Right, I don't know Pittsburgh. I should probably start having a look at how this arrival's coded in, shouldn't I? So, Vince, Ejoki, please. Oh wow, I love that they've got a waypoint called please. Nesto, then Dem, then Gruns. Harrisburg is the capital city for Pennsylvania. Oh, I did not know that. I've been to Pennsylvania as well. I think I was about 14 though back then. Right, so let's get the weather for Pittsburgh, shall we? Get that weather request, get that sent off. Whilst I'm doing that, then I want to check my coding for this. So, flight plan goes to I haven't got any of those waypoints on here. Tell you what, just so I can put the navigation chart next to. Right, there we go. Alright, that's a little bit strange just because it's not using the star for some reason that I'd popped in. To be honest, this didn't actually use a star, did it? If we have a oops, go away. If we have a look at the operational flight plan, there was no star. It was just a direct from Alpha Golf Charlie, wherever that is. That's just got a little bit turbulent. How far are we away anyway? 130 miles away. Won't be that long before we start looking at descending. So AOC menu, weather, messages received. Let's print that off. Right, minimum safe altitude around here. Let's just have a look. So what I would like to do is, instead of flying this full published approach, which is basically, I don't know if you can just see that. In fact, let me just bring the visual, the VFR map up. Right, so from Alpha Golf Charlie, we can turn towards Pittsburgh, but instead of them flying all the way over the approach and coming back in from the north, we can just basically veer off, head westbound here, and then to intercept. We'll still intercept at Willie, but from the south rather than the north. Just checking minimum off route altitudes here is, as we do that, it will be 4,200 feet. So if we get down to 5,000 feet and then at Willie, we were happy being at. Oh, actually, that works out exactly as it says on the charts. Look, Willie, we come to this waypoint here, which isn't in our flight plan, but at Mufti, that would be 5,000 feet. Willie, 4,000 feet, and then platform altitude is 3,000 feet. So that's okay. So I'm just going to make a note of all that. So we're landing on runway 10 right, no star. Transition altitude again here in the USA is 18,000 feet. Platform altitude was 3,000 feet. Minimum safe altitude is 3,800 feet actually as we come in. Looking at that, 3,800 and 3,100 to the west. And our decision altitude is, that's quite high, isn't it? What's the oh no, it's not. That's just seemed high up, but the airport's quite high up, so it's 1,285 feet. Okay, QNH. In fact, we'll get that from down here, won't we? Oh, let's print it off. I thought I'd printed that off, did we not? Let's try that. Don't tell me the printer's not working. Oh, no, goodness me. I had a big panic then. Can't not have the printer working. Right, so what is it? Overcast, altimeter 2989. And let's get all that information on the perf page then. Wayne, do they leak often? I hope not. Right, 2989. Temperature is 14. Ali 456, hello. Wind is 160 at 6. And transition altitude, of course, is 18,000. And the barrow was 1285. Oh, passengers are screaming. What's it doing now? Did seem to be having a bit of a clear air turbulence moment, didn't it? Alright, so RadNav page, let's get that ILS put in 108.9. And I'll just say that elevation is 1135. Missed approach is 5,000. So I'm going to pop that frequency in the RadNav page because it's not auto-populated, although we're still quite far away. Let me leave it for the time being, but if I do forget, can someone give me a kick? Because obviously I don't want to be trying to line up with the ILS, turn on the push button and find out that there's no ILS frequency in there. Shamrock 1710, what goes in the radio in the destination data page? That would be the decision height if you're doing an auto land. Still need to do a tutorial on that. Now I've slowly got my head around it. Again, with big thanks to HD. MDA is the barrow, Alan, if that helps. Look at that landscape down there. That's really neat. Talia, is it you that said the areas around Pittsburgh's got quite a few hills? You've driven through there a few times. Well, let's try not to crash into those then, shall we? HD, I'd love to test the Autoland, but it's an ILS, a Cat 1. Technically I could do. We've no other aircraft in the simulator, so they wouldn't be impeaching the hold stop bars. I'm presuming Autoland is in this aircraft. It should be. We could do it and see how nicely it lands. See if we can see if we can beat mine.
Ladies and gentlemen, from FlyByWire once again, Netherlands to know review Swedish control fire checks and tests on here, and we'll shortly be starting our descent to our destination. At which point, the cabin crew will start to prepare for our arrivals. If you can please make sure the behinds are clear and assist the cabin crew as they start making their way around the aircraft, it would be most appreciated. Thank you, and we'll have an update for you shortly.
Runway 28 is a Cat 2. 28 right. Actually, could we do that? What were the winds? We're going to get a crosswind anyway, aren't we? What was that wind doing? Wind was 160 at 6. We'd have a small tailwind. We could do Cat 1, couldn't we? Could do a Cat 1 auto land on runway 10 right. Right, how far away are we? 70 miles. That's direct, but it's time to start going down. So we're going to go down all the way down to 5,000 feet. So set altitude 5,000 feet, open descent, set local pressure 2989. Also set that in the standby as well. Those clouds look pretty decent, don't they, that we're about to go through? Cat 3 was not available there. No, actually, it only goes up to Cat 2. Should do a Cat 1 auto land. They're not normally done, but for a test flight, it's the perfect opportunity, isn't it? Right, so in that case, I believe what we're doing. Let's go back to the performance page. Let's clear the barrow, and we're setting decision height as 150. Oh, try that again. In the radio. There we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to commence serving our alcoholic drink service throughout the cabin. Please make sure your tray tables are in the downward position and clear any bags or items from the aisles. As this is a test flight, all alcoholic beverages are being served free of charge as a thank you for putting your lives in our hands today. Please note that the alcoholic drink service is not available to under 18s. Soft drinks will instead be offered. Thank you.
Oh, HD, explain that to me and to everyone else. So I would have put 200 in there. Why on the chart do we have 150 shown? I'll leave that with you. But let's go pop 200 back in there then. Amos, you've lived in Pittsburgh area for the last 20 years. Oh, well, hopefully you might recognise some places then. So we're just slowing the aircraft down now. We're flight level 240 and we've hit 265 knots. Back down we go. Oh, so HD, we should still have put 1285 in as the radio. Is that right? Are we still? Are we? I'm getting confused now. Mainly because I'm still getting my head around baro and radio. Would we still be putting it at the decision height, which would be the radio? We're going to get that anti-ice on as well, just so we drop through these clouds. Shamrock, put your faith in it and reduce the visibility to 0. I do have faith in it. It's really, really good. It's very good. Okay, so the MDA value is 1285. Into the radio. And of course, the radio only goes up to, what is it, 2,500 feet, isn't it? So it's above that, then you're stuffed. You're not doing any sort of auto land, are you? Wayne, to be fair, the anti-ice usually only needs to be on as well if the SAT is below 40, which you can just see. Sorry, minus 40. In fact, I've just said that very wrong. The anti-ice also only needs to be on going through the clouds if the temperature is higher than minus 40. If it's lower than minus 40, then you don't. I've just put that in the wrong field again. Around 1285. Try that again. There we go. Oh, HD, that sentence clears a lot up. You're just flying as a normal Cat 1, but not disconnecting autopilot. Fair enough. Now, the weather did say that it was going to be at about... it was going to be overcast. Looks like that's not materialised, so that's fine. How far are we away? We're about 30 something miles away, aren't we? 33 miles away. But that's alright because that's not direct. Or rather, that is direct. We're not flying direct, so we're going to get to AGC, turn towards the airport, and then just continue west a little bit, and then we'll come in for a vector around here to come in and land. David, is the Windows tweak to the graphics still working well? Yeah, it is. Yeah. Very, very, very well. The cutter, what's been tested, the brand new dev version, which is basically the experimental version. It's now just been moved over. HD, do we still retard the thrust on the call out or at 30? Normally when I'm auto landing, you wait for the retard, as it is a reminder, not an it is an instruction, it's not a reminder. Oh Wayne, I'm far too knackered to be doing stuff like that. Right, I think we can get the anti-ice off now. We're through, we didn't actually go through that cloud layer, so that's fine. Simon wishing a safe landing for all of us, absolutely. So HD was still doing it on the call out as it's autoland. That's fine, that's fine. Obviously that's another difference between the two, isn't it? Once we've landed then, we're going to be vacating to the left. Just orange, that's actually been there for a while. So yeah, if you use the brakes too hard, they will become very, very hot, and you'll have to start those brake fans. Right, so we're at 12,000 feet. The airport elevation is 11,000 feet. So let's get the seatbelt signs on, and we can also turn those landing lights on. We're about 10,000 feet above ground level. Alright, so we've got the weather and the landing information, that's all set. Flight management guidance system, we're going to check, has got the rad nav, has it put it in? No, it's not, so I'm going to put that in manually. Frequency is 108.9. Oh, not a dash, let's pop a 9 in. 108.9. There we go, check that identifier as well. That's different. Should that concern me? Let me just bring that in. So, identifier is iGut, but I'm actually showing IPFS. So, guess we'll find out, won't we? Landing elevation is 1135. Aircraft's turning direct willy now. That's a little bug, didn't want it to do that. Let's reduce that speed and let's turn that heading to a more westerly heading, and then we can come round. Ruben, does the ILS frequency not automatically populate? No, it doesn't. It's a bug in the sim. It should in the real world, of course, but sadly not. Sadly not for the simulator. Okay, so let's use some speed brakes and start getting us speed down. So performance, and we're actually in the approach phase now, so let's go to managed. That'll just stop our descent rate momentarily. Uh, 28 left's ident is, oh, that's the one. Yeah, HD, that's the one. IPFS. It's got the other ending. Same frequency, of course.
Cabin crew, please prepare the cabin for landing.
Okay, so everything is looking good so far. We're now just obviously flying the downwind, and airport should be I'll be over there somewhere. Unless that's it. See what track miles we've got to fly. We've got about 10, probably about 20 miles left to fly, so we're okay with that descent rate at the moment. Thank you, Chris, my friend. Good to see you in the stream. Have a great evening.
Ladies and gentlemen, you'll be relieved to know we are about to land. Please make sure you are seated with your belts fastened and your trays in the upright position. Please turn off all electronic devices until after landing. Thank you.
So hopefully that wind will swing around to be a more southerly wind. The wind should be as well landing from the right hand side as we're landing. Not too strong. As you can see at the moment we've got a headwind at the moment. That needs to back off, that 30 knot headwind turning into a tailwind. Quiz question for anyone without looking it up. What's the max tailwind speed the A320 lands at? This one should be easy now. Okay, so coming up on 5,000 feet. Lots of green round here, isn't it? Obviously there's lots of barren areas of the USA, but that looks quite nice. Almost looks like England from above here. HD, you can't answer. The spam bot's going to kick you, HD. Okay, so now if we just bring that round, we can go down to 4,000 feet by for Willie. I'll give that another 2 minutes in the give that another 2 minutes before I answer that question. I want to see if HE gets spammed, gets kicked. And there's that terrain starting to show on the radar there. That's quite neat, isn't it? You can see where the riverbeds are. Look at that. Nice. Oh, and HD, look, as we had expected, iGut is now showing. That's really neat. HD, you just answered it. That's fine. Alt star, 4,000 feet. I need to turn the brightness down on that terrain because that was a bit glaring. Okay, Willie is about 9 miles out. So, is this an ILS DME? It's not, is it? There is a TAC on the airfield. Should we pop that in just to give us a little bit of a distance? Should have done that before. Mike Juliet. There we go. 14 miles out. That is actually at the end of the other runway, so it's obviously much the runway that we're landing on is much closer than that. Okay, so we're going to go flaps 1 and we're going to start to make that turn. So speed check, flaps 1. And we'll start spinning it around. I seriously can't believe the difference that graphics fix has made. That looks stunning. HD, yeah, if anything starts to go wrong, I will take over. We've had to do that in the past. Okay, so glide slope is alive. We can now actually start to descend to 3,000 feet. Minimum safe altitude now is 3,100 feet, so let's go, let's pull that. Arm the localizer, lock blue, open descent, 3,000 feet blue. And we should start to see that come into play in a moment. Radio altimeter is alive.
2,500.
With that terrain below us, that's
2,500.
terrain below us. That's just going to keep bubbling away, isn't it? There we go. Alt star. Ice? Really? Okay. Let's get the ice on. There's the altitude. And we should be looking to capture that ILS any second now. And we should capture 3,000 feet at this waypoint here, which is Starg. So glide slope blue, localizer blue, cat 3 single. There we go, lock start. Cat 3 single, autopilot 2 coming on. Cat 3 dual. Now this is something you've not been able to do in the developer version until today. Both autopilots working as we check out this auto land. Okay, flaps 2, speed check, flaps 2. And just watching that wind really needs to drop off a bit. That's a 25 knot wind at the moment behind us. So landing gear down, spoilers, lights, ding that cabin. I want to see that wind starting to drop pretty quickly. And
1,000.
flaps 3, speed check, flaps 3. That wind was 160 at 6. That's not what's displaying at the moment. Flaps full. Okay, so cabin is secured for landing. Missed approach altitude set. Auto thrust speed. Ecam
500.
landing no blue. That wind
400.
has dropped off, but we're quite fast.
400. 300.
Land.
200.
Hand on the side
100
stick
above.
and thrust,
200.
but I'm not touching anything just yet.
Minimum
Continue.
100. 40, 30, 20, retard,
Retard.
5,
We just saw the rudder kick in a little bit there. That's the rollout. And aside from obviously bringing the thrust back to 30, thrust back to idle when it told us to, we've not done anything. Reversers are off. Well done. I was really happy to see that little bit of rudder right at the last. I don't know if you caught that. That was nice and neat.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain seated until the aircraft arrives at the gate and the seatbelt signs have been turned off. You are reminded to keep all electronic devices switched off until you have entered the airport terminal. If you enjoyed your flight, you can now join the channel as a member and receive extra perks to make your future flights with us more enjoyable.
Okay, we've got a replay of that coming up as well, so you can check that out from the outside too.
Please join us in a round of applause for the wonderful FlyByWire developers. Thank you.
Alright, so I'm not going to taxi all the way back to the gate. I'm going to let us enjoy the replay. So once again, if you missed that, that was a complete full autoland, now available in the developer version of the FlyByWire A320NX mod. That was really nice. I was a little concerned at the winds to begin with. I need to have faith, don't I? What was it? I think we were about at 1,000 feet. I'd still got a 30-knot tailwind, and I'm thinking, oh, this is going to be a long landing. I should have put the auto brake on, shouldn't I? Wasn't quite needed. But let's have a look then. What was the, just before I rewind any of that back, guys, and I set that up, what was the landing rate, out of interest? I want to know what the landing rate was from the Autopilot. Very interested to know that. So I'm just going to shut down self-loading cargo, and we'll load that. And we'll load that replay. Here it comes. 104 feet per minute. Oh wow. Any pilot would be happy with that, right? So, this is the replay. I just need to send off a few warnings there. And let's enjoy it. Just get this to a point where we can enjoy the final approach. There we go. So if anyone in the stream has not yet done so, if you could do me a huge favour, hit that like button on the stream. It really does help with the YouTube algorithms and rankings. That would be really, really kind of you. Dana, how do you get the header of the altitude and flight data? That's from Flight Live Studio. Only available for streaming, though. It's not shown in the simulator, so I can't see it. Which is why I didn't know what the landing rate was. But that autopilot on that autoland was really neat, and the way that rudder just kicked in at that last minute to line up with the runway heading, really, really good. Now you can just hear the landing gear coming down now. But yeah, on this final approach here, you can tell, looking out obviously out the window, that this is a lot faster than I was used to, due to that headwind. Sorry, that tailwind. Look at those graphics. And a little reflection in the pond as well of the trees. I'm so happy with that little graphics tweak. I can't believe the difference it's made. Why didn't I do that months ago? So the replay recording is from Flight Control Replay. That's the outer marker. Is that the outer marker? Yeah, the inner marker beeps much faster than that, doesn't it? Oh, that's beautiful. Well done, fly-by-wire. Ruben, if you want to see the graphics tweak, check out my video on the channel. It already came out a couple of days ago, so easy to find. It'll take you 30 seconds. Honestly, it will take you 30 seconds to tweak it. It's a Windows tweak. And then once again, for those of you sat on the right hand side of the aircraft, because I do love watching these replays from the window view. It's awesome. I tell you, yeah, the autoland is very, very sweet. And of course, on a normal day, we certainly wouldn't need to do an autoland with the weather as it is. The weather was beautiful for today's flight, but we just wanted to test it out. And we get to enjoy the graphics as well. That's one thing you can do if you don't have the replay mod or the replay app. You just put just put the autoland on and sit as a passenger and watch your aircraft land. So if any of you that know Pittsburgh quite well, hopefully this looks quite realistic to you. I even saw the chevrons then on the highway. That's quite neat. That really is insane graphics, isn't it? That windsock there is showing the wind that exactly as I expected as we touched down. Amazing stuff. Alright then guys, so I'm going to call that an evening. It's most certainly been a successful test flight. Well done to the Fly-by-Wire team. Please do give the video a like if you haven't done so, the stream a like if you haven't done so already. But yeah, Fly-by-Wire once again proving that they are absolutely amazing at what they do. Big thumbs up to them. If you're new to the channel today, then please do consider hitting that subscribe button. We're on the road to 10,000 now, not far off. I think we're about 300 subscribers off that. So I've got a really good stream planned for when we hit that 10,000 mark. So looking forward to doing that for you guys as well. Sorry about the technical aspects and problems that we had right at the very start of the evening. Thankfully we did manage to overcome those, didn't we? So that's that was good. I'm going to leave you with one final replay, and I will be back in the EasyJet flight deck for a normal flight next time around. And of course on Monday we will have long haul mileage Monday flight coming up. So I shall see you all then. If anyone wants to grab hold of that graphics tweak that I've been referring to, then please do check out the video on the channel, released a couple of days ago. Very easy for you to find, and it'll take you 30 seconds. And honestly, my graphics have never looked better in the flight sim. And yeah, 30 seconds is all it will take you. Thanks very much, guys. I look forward to seeing you on the next flight. Bye bye.
2,500. 1,000. 500. 400. 400. 300. 200. 200. 100. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10,